everyone, thanks for joining today. Now, as you know, we're going to be comparing Guide and Confluence today. So two of my favorite tools, Guide and Confluence, and you've probably heard of hopefully both of them, but maybe at least one of these tools. Now, if you've ever had to document internal processes for a team, you probably know how painful it can be. Now, you spend time writing instructions, adding screenshots, formatting pages, and then 2 weeks later, the workflow changes and everything is outdated. Now, as a project manager responsible for operations and multiple internal processes, documentation is a big part of my job, and I absolutely love it, but it can be tedious. Now, over the years, I've used a lot of different tools, but two that come up frequently are both Confluence and Guide. Now, Confluence is one of the most widely used internal wiki tools, and Guide takes a completely different approach with video-first documentation. So in this video, we're going to be comparing the two based on how they actually work in real life. And specifically, I'm going to walk you through how fast it is to create documentation, how easy it is to update it when processes change, how well teams actually use the documentation, and which tool works better for async teams. Now, the biggest difference we'll look at is documenting a workflow in text-based wiki versus capturing it as a visual workthrough. So keep in mind, these are very different tools, and often I've been asked which one is better, and I always say which one is better for your specific needs. Now, I often use both of these in conjunction with each other, and that is a great way to make the best of these tools. Now, I've used Confluence for things like team knowledge base. So essentially, it's if you could imagine, like a really structured wiki where you can create pages, organize them into spaces. They've come a long way in terms of additional collaboration tools like this. So they've got whiteboards, different functionalities with this so that you can use these as brainstorming templates or workflows, mapping out some ideas. Team retrospectives if you are in the development and product space, really handy for that. You've also got a way to store databases and work within different spaces. I typically use this in terms of the pages space, and this is kind of what we're going to be focusing on today, is more like a team knowledge base. Now, I've used it for things like operations, playbooks, meeting documentation, internal policies, engineering documentation, project management documentation, you name it. I've used it for a bit of everything. Now, Guide, on the other hand, is specifically designed for process documentation, if you could imagine like that. Now, although it's got multiple uses like things like AI onboarding, employee onboarding, and more, I found that I typically use it instead of writing instructions manually. So what you would do is you would actually go through a workflow, record it, and the tool automatically turns that into a step-by-step visual guide. Now, this is really handy. If you're like me, you know how long this can typically take. It's a really tedious process, and I really like that it captures everything within a flow. And it actually comes down to using a little browser extension that's actually added right into your Chrome browser, for example, and it works really well just to capture everything step by step as you go. So right away, the difference is pretty clear. Confluence, ideal for written and structured kinds of information versus Guide, whereas using Guide is ideal for capturing visually as you perform each of those tasks. And the difference shows up immediately. Now, when you start creating documentation, you'll know, and I always recommend giving each of these tools a bit of a whirl before you go through the process of deciding which one is best for you. Now, I'm going to take you through a little insight into each of these tools. Now, here is a typical way that I would typically use Confluence. I absolutely love having my own little repositories of information, and I've used this as a really high-level structure for an onboarding or project procedures kind of thing. You would typically go in, create your folders, create your own space. Really great. I know that my support team uses this as well extensively. Perhaps you'd like to know how to escalate a support ticket or run a procedure within a specific team. And this is a great way where you would typically go in, let's go and update this information. So I could even go and edit. I would then go and paste all this information within the specific page. Now, as you can see, it's really text heavy. Step 1, opening it up. Step 2, creating edit or create a page, and then writing each of the steps step by step. I do like that you can add things like tables, You can format it quite a lot. You can also add things like images and links. And I do want to say that Confluence works really well with other Atlassian products. So keep in mind, part of the Atlassian ecosystem. So you may have heard of tools like Jira, for example, and it plays really well with existing tools like that in the space. So you can actually add in links straight to your Jira tickets, for example. And it works really well. Super readable, super user-friendly in terms of that, pretty straightforward. You don't need to be a highly technical person to kind of do this task. Once you're happy, you would just typically go and click on update, and then you can share this with your relevant teams. Now, I've used this to store as things like procedures, say, for example, project templates, that kind of thing. Really handy to have this in a really structured, hierarchical format that is easy to share with multiple teams. I do want to recommend that you do have it as a shared space that anyone can edit, but should you need to lock this down, this is also really handy within Confluence that you can actually change the permissions within the tool itself, which is really handy. So I don't like people going and editing all my hard work here and making accidental mistakes. So then you could then go and restrict this to specific people that can only view or they can edit as well. So really handy. Keep in mind, this typical walkthrough procedure like this would take quite a bit of time, but you can lock it down. You can allow things like comments, additional details. You can even listen to the page. If you've got someone who is perhaps visually impaired, they would be able to perhaps listen to that. And you can also integrate with additional tools like Loom, and you would have actually seen that here on the share as well. That Confluence does play well with a lot of other tools like Slack, and you can integrate with multiple other options as well. So really, really handy. I absolutely love it. I'm a very structured person, so this is probably why this is a good option for me. However, that is not for everyone, and this is where Guide becomes quite a handy tool to have a look at if you are that kind of person. Now, tool now Guide, on the other hand, is really different in terms of creating documentation. Now, once you've gone and set up your account with Guide, you would typically then go and click on Capture. So you would either use this option, you would click on New, click a new guide option, for example, and then you would get going with recording your workflow. So keep in mind that you would have to have an idea of what you would want to record before you get going. Now, I've used this for things like where we've got a walkthrough, for example, and I've gone and clicked on multiple steps within my walkthrough. You can use it for things like tutorials, training guides, onboarding, SOPs, knowledge base articles, you name it. I've done this for a lot of training, so specifically training on specific systems that I'd like to share with my team. I know that this can take a lot of time, and I really like that I could typically then just go and click on a how-to tutorial and click on start capture, and I would then click through all the various parts in the process there. Once doing that, you are able then to edit your guide video as well, which is really handy. Now, I do want to say, like, here is an example where we've got an example to show how something works. You would typically then go and click through all of those different procedures. Now, I've used this for something like ClickUp. Previously, when I've recorded how a typical ClickUp workflow would work for one of my team. The best part of Guide is that once you record it, it actually tracks all the various steps, what you're doing, when you're doing it, where you're clicking, and it adds in all these callouts. It creates a script for you as well as directions as you go through each of the steps. So you don't need to then go and add in all this manual information. I would recommend checking it though, just to make sure it is 100% accurate. And then you would typically then be able to create all these various steps within the process, record it, save it, and then you can even go and do advanced editing, which I really like. So adding things like brand kits, adding things like perhaps you want to add a voiceover, for example, ideal for where you've got less technical teammates who maybe would like to use a different voice instead of their own. You can even add in things like audio, background sounds, captions. So again, making this really accessible for people who are maybe visually or hearing impaired. You would be able to then go and add captions, text, background, etc. Once you're done, you would click on done, and then you would typically share with your team. Now, what I quite like about Guide is that everyone thinks, okay, great, this is a fantastic video recording tool. But what about documentation? Now, keep in mind that you could actually then go and download this as a document as well. So um, this is where I find using two tools like this in conjunction is really super powerful. I perhaps have a step-by-step process here. Someone doesn't have the time or the opportunity to watch the video. They would simply go and click on the document, read through all the instructions, and then use the video as a supplementing collateral if they need to. However, this has got multiple ways that you can do this. You could then add to a specific channel, and you can share multiple ways, which I really like. So some people then go and embed this directly into a website or into their knowledge base. So keep in mind, here's a good opportunity to embed this straight into Confluence, for example. You would then be able to just export that document via multiple different formats, which I really like as well. HTML, Word, GIF slides, you name it. And also keep in mind that, like Confluence, there's a lot of integration points here. So they integrate with Confluence, which is really handy. Notion, Zendesk, Intercom, multiple different channels. So really, really overall super easy to use, quick to update. Now, as mentioned, keep in mind this is not a which tool is best. It is which tool is best for what you're needing to do. Now, overall, I would say that I found team adoption better with Guide. And this is because typically people do respond better to exciting videos. You've got background sounds, really, really great in that kind of sphere. And this is why it's really good for AI onboarding, for example, things like talent development, any kind of learning, that kind of thing, really handy to have in that kind of space for your team engagement. I do find it a little bit trickier to get people to enjoy a lot of Atlassian's products like Jira and like Confluence. However, really handy tool to have, and it really, really works well with a lot of other options. Now, either way, these are both fantastic tools for asynchronous teams. So think about someone who needs to access information at any point. They may prefer to access a document like me. I want to see technical information. A video is really not the best option to use there. Perhaps other individuals need to quickly see what a new feature is on a product demo. They could typically then go and look at that information in terms of this is a quick video that was created with a guide. So again, both have their really strong points. And they have very different price points too. So I do want to mention that before we wrap up, is that Guide does have a free plan, and I've used that quite extensively. So I would recommend, if you're not that sure on which tool is best for you and how it works, try out the free plan. Really great. The pricing then ranges whether you are billed monthly or annually, from about $19 to $39 per creator per month. They do have different broadcast options as well, and of course enterprise costing for larger organizations. Now, in comparison to Guide, we do have Confluence pricing, which again, also a fantastic free plan for up to 10 users. So there's no excuse. Go and give both of these tools a bit of a spin just to see how they work and which one would be best for you. They do have scalable pricing plans. So depending on, for example, if we've got 2,000 users or 3,000 users, that pricing will change quite a bit. So depending on your organization size, I would recommend going and having a look. You could find that it's super affordable for you per user per month, depending on your team size, and of course, whether this is annually or monthly billed, ranging from anywhere from, say, $6 up to $15 per month. Depending on the organization size, and of course, enterprise costing plans would need to be quoted for separately. Now, at the end of the day, documentation is evolving. Traditional wikis and tools like Confluence are still incredibly useful for structured knowledge, but many teams struggle with keeping text-heavy documentation accurate and up to date, and I know that this has been a struggle for me. So in that instance, video first documentation tools may take a different approach and may be better for your organization or for your needs. Now, by making documentation faster to create and easier to consume, you will find that you reduce the friction of capturing knowledge in the first place. And this is how I do get my teams to stay on top of things and keep things updated. Now, documentation only works if it's easy to create and easy to maintain. So if it isn't, people simply won't keep it updated, and that's when knowledge starts slipping through the cracks. So hopefully these two tools give you a good idea of what their best scenarios are, what their best use cases are, and where they really stand out. Thanks for joining.